We're going to the studio where we're gonna set up our brand new studio in our office so we can go in, shoot content.
All right, so this is Bosscat Kitchen, one of the best ran restaurants in Orange County, really, and then 10 Sushi's right next door. But our office is right across the way. Just got the office, but I'm excited to set up the studio. What me and Dan do right now is we set up all of the footage wherever we're at. So when we're traveling, we're just filming the restaurants that we're at, or random places, and so this will give us like a space to actually film this stuff and plan it, develop it, so we can really create some good content. And the podcast I'm most excited about.
Ideally, podcast, always like a corner is the best. So it's not just like against a flat wall. So it's like if we could put one chair here with a mic, one chair there, mic. Yeah, doing it, like keeping it, like these chairs are like perfect.
Yeah.
Like kind of like loungy, like.
And then we can have like our YouTube video get shot right here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put up a sign. Like my talking head YouTube video, like breaking down a restaurant or talking about hospitality or whatever. And then that will be like straight on. Yeah.
And then some sort of branding for the 30%. If it's like here in the corner or on that side, then like you can see it for the podcast and you can see it for like a YouTube video. Maybe.
Do you think we'll need 2 cameras for the podcast?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, I think like 3 cameras would be good to have, like one close up, one wide. Instead of having stands, you could drop down. It's always up there, right? And out of the way.
I'm sure you can do it here, right?
I could definitely mount them onto those. So essentially, it'd be 2 lights. So then one camera would like tuck back here, one camera would be there, one camera here, and then like a stool, you know.
Yeah, maybe we can see if we can get like the desk on like a roller. You can lock it, but then when it's like rolling, we can push it up, you know, a little bit so it just doesn't take up too much room.
Yeah, definitely.
And then have like the screen and the thing on one, right? And I honestly don't think it matters where we're at. I mean, we can even, if we want to get creative, just shoot it over here.
Right.
We can just slide the desk with like the, you know, the screen and everything and put it over here.
Yeah.
And then set the camera up over here. Having like the board, I can do that and have this like cool background.
Because in the camera, it's so washed out compared to like the eyeball,
right.
You know?
Oh, it has to be really powerful.
Yeah, so the light's in here, but it's possible to do for sure.
Maybe let's keep it here because at the end of the day, we want easy use, dude. Like, because eventually I want the digital workshops to be like here.
The thing too is I can always use Sean's footage. Dude, it's a great like studio because when people come in, right, to shoot, they can actually get something to drink, can like eat, they can hang out, right? I never seen a taxidermy black bear like this. They killed the baby.
Now we're going to the Morisco's, which is a fantastic restaurant. And I love Morisco's commitment because we meet up with them once a month. They do our online programs as well, and they've grown so much. I was telling Raul that I saw him at the California restaurant show, and I'm like, man, I missed you guys, because it's been like 2 months, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, a little bit over 2 months, so I've definitely missed you guys, missed these talks. So what I really want to go over today is training. Not just like basic training, but like really next level training. How we can actually train our staff to get better and develop our people. I tell businesses all the time, and I want you guys to have this mindset and understand this mindset. And it goes so true for the kitchen staff, but it's even more true for the front of the house because it's harder to do. And that's a really simple understanding that if you guys as leaders can develop your people at a high level, if you can truly understand that we're here to develop people ultimately, right? If we can do that, we'll be successful, right? If Raul can develop you guys as leaders and you guys can develop the people underneath you, you guys will be super successful in whatever you want to do. And what I'd like to say is like you guys can, like the sky's the limit, right? Like I'm gonna go around and talk about the pain points you guys are having right now when it comes to training and what that looks like. But anything's accomplishable if we can train our people, right? Develop it. So I want that to be your mindset from now on. As leaders and trainers, we're here to develop people. That's what we're here to do. Like that should be front and center of your mind, right? I'm not training someone so they can know where the buttons are in the computer. I'm not training someone to be like, this is how you greet the table. This is the time to greet the table. I'm actually developing them into the employee that I want them to be. And that's not easy, right? But it is doable. And organizations do it all the time. It's just a level of commitment. That's what it boils down to. And no one's in here, is anyone here not committed? Raise your hand. Yeah, everyone here is committed. We know that. But it's putting your focus on the right places because everyone's spending a lot of time and energy in the business. Everyone here works freaking hard. They work their butts off, but it's focusing on the right things. Okay, so I want to go over a couple of things right now, and I want you guys to write it down. Like, but what is the biggest, in your opinion, pain point when it comes to training? Where you're like, this is missing for some reason. Yeah. Like, this is just missing, like, from your perspective. Like, this is somehow not translating into execution. So just write down, a pain point right now, like, this is not translating into execution. So when I train someone, right, what am I training them? And every time I go on the floor, I'm like, why? Why are they not getting it, right? Why are they not getting this one piece when I train them? Just one thing. If you're like, wave a magic wand, you could automatically, they would do this one thing, but they just freaking don't seem to get it. It could be a manager, it could be a server, hostess, whatever, but what are you seeing there where you're like, man, if I could just have like a magic pill and give it to them and they would learn this thing every time, I'd be, like, I would be much happy, I'd be very happy. But for some reason, there's a big disconnect. It could be back of the house or front of the house. Like something in the back of the house or something, like.
In front of the house.
I mean, sorry, but like you're saying, like
They're looking for a product or
like a to-go box or something, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have them, and then you go back there. Yeah. So I would write down culture and standards. Like that's what I would write down with that one, and we can go over that. So yeah, because that's the standard thing, right? And I used to bartend, like run bars, and that would fucking drive me crazy when people would do that in the bar, where they would like empty out the beers but leave the box, or look like a little rat got into it because they would just tear open the box and grab like one thing that they needed. And I'm just like, that would frustrate me. So I would always try and train on like, this is our standard, right? We thought, oh, I was slammed. It was so busy. I'm like, that's fine. I get it. But guess what? The 15 seconds it takes to break down that box and put it in the back or bring it out is not going to make or break or shift. What we need to do is develop a standard where we do that no matter what. So that's a great one. Okay, I'm glad you brought that one up. And this one I want you guys to pay attention to. Does anybody ever get that when you're like talking to someone? They're like, oh, I didn't know. No one told me that. I didn't know, right? And you're like, you knew, right? But that's okay because there's two options, right? Option A is that we try and argue with them, right? Like everyone knows that. How do you not know that, right? Or are you trying to explain to them, okay, well, here's how it is, right? Or option B is, again, we're gonna develop them and we're gonna develop a culture of development. So instead of saying like, I didn't know that, okay, that's fine. So, but we're good now, right? Okay, cool. Now you're gonna write that down in your notepad, right? Something this like, okay, whatever it is, right? I didn't know that the backup to-go boxes would be here. And then you put that in your pre-shifts for the next week. So just so you guys know, everyone understands where the to-go boxes are? Yeah? Okay, does everyone know where the backup to-go boxes are? Does everyone know that? Okay, they're over here, and I'm gonna show you, we're gonna walk over right now. These are where the backup to-go boxes are. So if they're missing here, you can look here now, and it's gonna be labeled, right? So does everyone understand that? Is everyone good? You do that for a week, and all the managers on board, right? We're all doing it for a week, so now no one's gonna say I didn't know, right? So we're gonna break it down. So I wanna kind of go over a couple of ideas for you guys, but we wanna break things down like that. And that way you start developing the culture of development, right? So you're just breaking down everything into really, really like simplistic nature. So I want you guys to write this down. This is a really good example of like when you're trying to develop people, okay? So, and I'm stealing this from Tony Robbins, by the way. This is not my idea, so he basically says, he has a story, right? He goes, I'm not good at golf. And so he goes, I'm not good at golf, and so I went to go play with a friend. We played 18 holes. He's like, now, I asked my friend, like, hey, would you like to play 10 cents a hole? Want to bet 10 cents a hole for golf? And he's like, well, yeah, dude, 10 cents? Like, that's nothing, sure. And he goes, okay, cool. He's like, what if we made it interesting? What if we just doubled it every hand? So double the amount every hole. And he's like, okay, well, 10 cents, 20 cents, 40 cents, dollar, whatever. Yeah, what is that, like 50 bucks, 100 bucks? Sure, I can afford that. But when you do the math on that, it's like 10 cents a hole, 20 cents, 40 cents, 80 cents. So when you get to the 18th hole, guess how much it is? Anybody have an idea?
So is it like
1,000?
probably like 50 bucks?
50 bucks?
It's right up. I mean, it's gotta be like
It's $13,000.
on the.
If you double,
I thought it's only 18 holes.
yeah, if you double 10 cents 18 times, it goes up to $13,000. If you double it, right? It's $13,000. His point is you want to see things from that 10 cents point of view, right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do the math. I know, it's mind-boggling. So you want to break it down to those first 10 cents, right? You want to think about it that way. When I'm developing people, I'm going to go to that 10 cents. Instead of trying to solve the $13,000 problem, right? Because you see that 13, you're like, no, whoa, that's too hard for you. That's too hard for the trainee. That's too much. We got to break it down to those 10 cents originally, 10 cents, double it, and we will get to that $13,000 fix. But we want to start with those 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents part of it. So this is a great example, right? Break it down into stupid is what I call it. And not calling anybody stupid, but we're just breaking it down into stupid learning. So anybody can understand it, everyone's getting it, and we're developing people over time. Because again, it's like all about our focus and our energy. Everyone here is busting their ass, yes? Anybody here have easy days where they're like, I don't have much to do. I don't know what to do with myself. Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, we're all busting our humps, but you want that energy to go to the right things because you want progress. You want solutions. You want growth from your employees, from yourself too. But so you have to break things down really simply like that. And you have to figure out ways to do that. So that's a great example, dude. Like I love it because that's a true pain point. So when they say, I don't know, perfect. Great, I have something to now I have something to like fix, right? And I can fix this, and it's so simple, right? We're gonna start with that though. So that way it's like, 2 weeks later, it's like, hey, I don't know where that's at. And you're like, were you at the pre-shifts last week? Did you work 2 weeks ago? Because we talked about in the pre-shifts, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, oh, okay, cool. But when we start having that conversation, then we're developing people. Who wants to go next? Pain points. I love that, yeah. So that's, again, focusing on the right things, right? Putting your right people in the right place, focusing on the right things. That's a great example. You have a guy who's good at his job, and he's overtime, and you're like, I want to teach him more things, which is a good thing, right? If you have an employee that's like, I want to learn basically management skills, you want that person in your organization because they're going to be committed, and you can grow them. And do you guys know the top 3 reasons people leave jobs?
Managers?
Yes. Next one?
Culture?
No, but that is one of them, top 10. But what's the second one, you think?
Pay.
Huh?
Pay.
No, training.
Training.
Third one. So like they basically like I feel like I got undertrained and now my job's like really hard on me and I feel like, we've all been there, right? We work somewhere and you're like, I got undertrained and I don't know what I'm doing and it's chaos and no one knows what they're doing and it feels like chaos. You're like, I'm just like, I want to go somewhere it's organized, clean, simple, like I get it. And then third one, guess what it is? Any guesses?
Managers?
No, leadership is number one. Number 3 is lack of growth. Because if people don't feel like they're growing, so it's leadership, it's training, improper training, and then it's lack of growth. If people don't feel like they're growing, then they want to leave. Naturally, as humans, we want to grow what we're doing, right? That's where people get stagnant when you're doing day-to-day Groundhog Day stuff. That's why bartenders and servers struggle so much, and hostesses struggle so much. Because they get stagnant because it's like the same thing over and over and over again. And we're not teaching them new skills on how to get better or anything like that. So they're going in, serving, going in, serving, going in, serving, going in, serving. And that's why they get jaded. They get freaking like angry, right? They're always like upset about something. And so that's why it's important to figure out ways to show them to grow. So great job on that. And so now you have someone that wants to grow. So now it becomes about delegation. Okay, how do I get work off his plate? I don't want to hire anybody else. We're not spending more money, but how do we get work off of your plate? Who can we train up underneath him to start doing his stuff so he can have time freed up to start doing that admin stuff? And whose time does that free up? Yeah. Whose time does that free up? Your time, right? Because you do admin stuff right now. So now you could teach him to do the admin stuff, and then you have time to go train people or to go watch the floor, develop people, manage the floor, work the expo line, whatever it is, or heaven forbid, work 3 or 4 hours less a week, right? Like, that's not a bad thing either. So that's what it's all about. That's what I'm talking about, developing people. And now you're talking about like an inception, right? You're developing people that can help develop people that can help develop people. But you have to plan all this stuff out and like look at it from that lens, that point of view. If you really start truly as trainers and especially as leaders, how do I develop people, right? How can I truly develop someone? Then you're gonna unlock a lot of things. And anybody's can be developed in these roles, right? For the most part, anybody can be a server, anybody become a bartender, anybody can master the hosting position, right? It's just us being able to train them. Anybody become a manager, for the most part, with reason. We gotta train them though, and give them the skill set to do it. So that's a big part of training. Another thing I want you guys to write down is 80-20. 80-20. So 80% of problems that you see are psychological, 20% are execution. What that means is 80% of problems that you have, like you think, I can't solve because I need more people. I can't solve because I need more money. I can't solve because it's too busy. That's psychological, mostly. So you think you can't solve the problem, but if you really think through it, you can't. 20% of it's execution. So that's where a lot of leaders get roadblocks, where they see a problem that needs to be solved. I really need to solve this problem, but I can't because of X, Y, and Z. I can't physically do it, or we can't do it because there's a roadblock. When there really isn't a roadblock, the roadblock's psychological, right? So just like you talked about, like I can't get people to freaking like figure this stuff out, but there's actually a way. It's just figuring out that way. And so one thing that I really like this quote is being resourceful and not using resources. There's a difference, right? Because if you're looking for resources, it's gonna be a long road, right? More staff, I need more staff to do this. We need more money to do X, Y, and Z, right? To be able to do this, whatever it is, I need more resources to be able to execute my job at a high level. Or are you the kind of person that can execute a job being resourceful? That's a different skill set. If you're a person that's resourceful, that means you can do it with what you have, and you get creative. And I like to use Dan's gonna like this. I like to use the Matrix as an example. Has anybody seen the movie The Matrix? Yes. Yeah? Who likes it? Yeah, have you seen it? You've never seen The Matrix? All right, I'm gonna have you wait outside. Yeah. She's like, happily. So The Matrix, and who's seen the second Matrix? Okay, who liked the first Matrix better? 100 times better, right? Yes. Okay, now here's the crazy part. They had like 1/3 of the budget on the first one. Okay, second one, they did so well, they're like, you can have as much money as you want, make the movies you want. But that took away a lot of its magic because the first one, they were a limited budget, so they had to be resourceful. So they had to be creative ways to like make these things look a certain way, and they got super creative with it and ended up just being part of the magic. Once they,
Right.
yeah, seriously.
Wait, why you get red, what?
I'm not ready.
Yeah, you got red. So they got resourceful, right? Then they got the resources, and then they put everything on camera, right? You see them like the agents churning a certain way. You see every accident. You see they put all these special effects in it because they had all this money, and it just kind of looked fake. It just didn't do a good job. So it's like really important that we stay resourceful, right? We can solve any problem with what we have. That's our mindset. I can solve any problem with what I have. It's just how do I solve that problem? And I guarantee you, you can. There's a freaking way. If there's a will, there's a way. So I want you to think about 80-20, right? If I have a problem, even if it's training, developing people, I can do it. It's just all in my mind. How do I fix it? And how do I be resourceful in doing that? And a lot of times it goes back to the 10-cent analogy. Break all this stuff down to 10%. So he's saying basically being prepared for your shift, right? Especially for bartending, that's very important. Kitchen is a lot easier, right? Because the kitchen's a good example of what you want to use because the kitchen's systematized. I'm guessing, correct? Like when you guys prepare for the meal, like for a dinner rush, you're not like, hey, if you want, like set it up however you want, right? You're like, you need X amount of this, you need X amount of that, you need X amount of this, you need X amount of that. If we run out, did we go through 10 or did we go through 100 tortillas? Because if we didn't, why wasn't there 100 tortillas there? Why are we running in the back getting tortillas during the rush? Right? You guys have it set up like that. That's how you want to see, again, being like resourceful. That's where you want to set up the bar. I would say I want to set up the pars like this is what the main well looks like on a Saturday night. This is what the main well looks like on a Monday night. This is exactly how many ice cubes you need, exactly how many foams you need, and this is how much like the second well looks like, whatever, right? This is how your top will look like. I would take pictures. I would laminate each page. I would write down, like I would go on the computer and like have it say like this is what the ice cubes are. Then with that par, you can have like the daytime prep, right? So the daytime prep makes sure those ice cubes are made if they need to be made, the foam's made if it needs to be made, whatever. So they have all that stuff written down. So the daytime knows exactly what pars, down to the limes, right? We need 50 cut limes, fresh. It's not about being like, It's mostly like you're reminding them, right? And you're going over it with them. If it gets to a point where you're constantly reminding someone, then it could get to, got to talk about.
It's about making somebody, not breaking them, right?
Exactly, 100%, I love that. Yeah, so I have the par sheet now for the daytime, now the nighttime. So then you get with the managers, right? You get with all the managers and you go, guys, we need to do work together. So at night, if you're managing, I'm off. At night, you're going to that well and you're saying, okay, cool, I got this. You got the ice cubes, you got the foam. Wait, why is the foam half filled? Oh, I don't know, they didn't prep. Okay, well, let's go. It's slow right now. Let's make the foam, right? Are we gonna run out of it or are we gonna make it during the shift? Like, let's do it now. Why do you only have 6 ice cubes instead of 8? Well, it's like that's where we start putting so now they know we're checking. And when they know they're checking, now they're gonna do their job because they don't wanna get called out. But little things like that will help you develop them, right? Develop people. And then when the next person gets hired on, the next bartender gets hired on, what's that bartender gonna do? They're gonna have that expectation. They're gonna see that we check. They're gonna see that we do all those things. And right away, they're just be like, I'm gonna do it because I wanna be good at my job. So that's what I would do in that situation. Does that make sense? Do you think that's doable?
Yes, sir.
You think you're gonna do it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Nice. Awesome. Who else? So how do you think you can instill that? Because that's a very subjective thing to tell someone, right? Like you're not really giving them a lot of tools to succeed. Because you have to think about it as pretend like they're gonna only do it if you're there kind of thing, right? Not that you want it to be that way, but what if that was the case? What tools have I given them to make sure that they're executing what I want them to? Because like, if I say stay busy, doing what? Well, clean. Okay, clean what? And what are they gonna say when you're like, it's slow? Did you clean? I just cleaned this. Look at it. I just wiped this whole thing down. So that's great, and that's one thing I do want to cover and say right away is that we all have to lead by example, like 24/7. We all have to be the hardest workers in the room. We all have to be always following the systems and the rules that we set out. It's just like a parent, right? Like a kid's gonna do what their parent does, not what their parent says, no matter what. Like same with us, we're leading the charge, so we have to be the hardest worker. If we're slacking off, they're gonna slack off because they're like, well, they're slacking off, I don't care. What are they gonna say, right? What are they gonna say to me? So that's important, so I love that. But but outside of you being there, right? How do you influence them when you're not there? And so I would say you want to set up systems, right? So it's like a checklist of things that need to be done throughout the day, right? So, and it can be different. Monday can be different than Tuesday. Monday day can be different than Tuesday night. Again, this stuff is the upfront work that you have to do to ultimately get the payoff at the end. But what does that look like? Now, if you say something like, wipe down all menus, check the bathroom, sweep the front, like those things are fine, but those are gonna be things that they can kind of say they did and they didn't do, right? Like you wanna give them real honest tasks that you guys are gonna see where Raul walks in and is gonna be like, oh, wow, great job, guys. This is the stuff's all dialed in. So what are some tasks you can truly give them that'll move the needle at the restaurant? Like those basic tasks are too small, but like whether it's reorganizing it, whether it's calling all the reservations, right? Double checking, whether it's calling all the reservations for the night before and thanking them, right? So it's like, hey, Monday day, the host doesn't have a lot to do, right? It's a little bit slow. They see guests during the lunch shift, so let's call all the guests and personally thank them and ask them how their experience was. Something like that, right? Where something that's gonna be productive and getting them involved, and it's gonna be an honest checklist that they're gonna have to do. Does that make sense? Do you feel like that's something you can do? Yeah, now, of course, I agree with you on all that stuff, and it's 100% true, but what excuse, so I always try and reverse engineer, right? What excuses do you think they're gonna make when they don't do that stuff and you say something to them? 100%, so again, like, I totally agree with your philosophy, of course, but it's like, I've had that conversation a million times with staff without moving the needle, right? When you're talking to them, they're like, huh? Oh, for sure, no, yeah. And maybe like that day, they kind of do a little bit more, but outside of that, that doesn't move the needle culturally. So then it's like reverse engineering. Okay, so how do we actually make sure that sticks? Like, what are some strategies? My idea would be like, you have a requirement, right? I'm gonna have you, like at the end of your shift, this is developing people, okay? This is putting in the work to develop people. I'm gonna have you pull aside a coworker after the shift. I'm gonna talk, and we're gonna talk about what teamwork you saw each other do, or what teamwork you saw someone else do. I want you to tell me like how so-and-so did teamwork. So you're having those conversations at the end of the night so they know you're gonna be checking in some way, shape, or form. Again, it's not like hammer, but it's like more of like a productive thing, right? So tell me, be honest with me, at the end of the shift, you're checking them out, doing their cash, like how did you help someone today? How did you help someone today? Yeah, how did you help someone today? And how did you help them when you're busy? I don't wanna know when you helped them when you're slow. I wanna know how you helped someone when you're busy. So we're talking about during the pre-shift, before the shift, I want you guys to do 3 things when you're slam busy to help a coworker. I want you to build that into your workflow, because that's important. I know all of you will help people when it's slow. I don't think anybody's gonna stand around here while there's drinks to be ran, but I wanna see you guys actually execute while you're freaking busy. I want you to be that dedicated to building it into your workflow, and you can absolutely do it. And I'm gonna ask you at the end of the shift, 3 people you've helped out. I want you to tell me how you helped them out. Is that fair, guys? Is that fair? Yeah, does anybody here not want teamwork? Tell me that, right? Ask that in the pre-shift. Does anybody here not want teamwork? Does anyone here not want to be helped by their staff? Does anyone here not want to be supported by their management team? We all are here to work together. I want to start building this in the culture, guys. That's you sharing the vision, right? And getting them bought into the vision, right? So that's great, because those words are great, man, and I agree with them, and they're totally true, but no one resonates with it, especially if they're stuck in their ways. Yeah, okay, cool, got it, yeah, I do that already, right? I do it already, but they don't. So, but I love it. So yeah, just systematically breaking it down on how we can develop people. Now again, this is where it's like, we gotta do the work, right? But once you start doing it, people start buying into it, people start getting excited about it, and when people see progress on their end, they love it, because they're getting growth too, because you're now teaching them to be better. That's where you get that stagnated server versus that server that's growing, and you're gonna see a difference in their attitude. That's huge. Well, so again, like, okay, so being resourceful and trying to think of like the 80-20, right? Like the roadblock, right? You're kind of having a roadblock where you're saying the roadblock is someone's either good at one thing or the other, right? Or they prioritize one thing or the other. They prioritize speed, Right. So that's, but what we want to do is so get that roadblock out of your head and kind of think like, why can't it be both? Right? Why can't we just have the standard? You're fast and you clean and you're clean. Bartenders have that, right? I pride myself as a bartender. Like I was fast and I was clean. Dude, I would set up everything, reset every single drink. I pride myself on that. Like I would do it. It was extra work, but I would do it and I got fast at it. It made my job easier too, and it was cleaner. And I had pride when people would walk by my station, crazy busy Friday night, and they're like, damn, dude, how is it so clean, right? And then I also, as a leader, could say, do you see this? It can be done. Right? It can be done. It's not impossible. So this is good, but we have to train ourselves to build into our workflow, right? Build that into our workflow. Like we're busy as all holy hell, but we're still executing. We're building into our workflow. So that's the verbiage I use. I want to build standards into our workflow, right? So if you guys go back there, what I would do personally, and you tell me if you think this would work, is again, pre-shifting every day. I hope you guys are doing that back of the house. Very important, just as like it is front of the house. But for a week, I'm gonna have everyone go in the back, and I'm gonna say, here's the walk-in as it should be, okay? Now I'm gonna give you an example. It's a busy Friday night and I go do this and it's slammed and we're short-staffed and we're behind on tickets. I'm gonna go grab this stuff and this stuff's gonna fall on the floor like this. You guys see that? I don't care how busy it is, we have standards here no matter what. And we're gonna build these standards in our workflow. So we're gonna sweep up this onion. Watch. I want you guys to pull out your phone, please. Set the timer. Okay, go. And then you walk over, boom, clean it up. Done. Now it's clean. How long did that take? 20 seconds? 20 seconds. So it takes 20 seconds to clean up after this, right? Is that fair? Yes. Okay. So I would like to give you guys permission to take that 20 seconds to make sure this is clean. And I'm going to hold you guys to a standard. And I want you guys to hold yourself to your standard. Can you guys have standards for yourself? Yeah. Okay. We can do it, right? So I give you permission. At the end of the night, if you're backed up the whole shift and I have to sit down and talk to you about it, you can say, hey, I took that 20 seconds to clean up after myself when I went to the dry walk-in, and that's why I was backed up. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna start realizing they can't make these excuses and it makes sense that they can do these things. Now, when you start doing that, so we do that for the whole week and you tell people, I want you to hold accountable, I'm gonna be looking to see who does this, or I'm gonna blame everybody, right? Now they're gonna hold each other accountable. Now they're gonna make that mess in the walk-in and go, I don't wanna walk outside because someone might see me, right? And they might know it's me, because I know people are watching, I know this is the standard, and we're gonna keep it up. And so that's really important, like, so break it down. Now, another thing you can do too is like with the towels and stuff, right? Because you're running around, like the towels, or your section, like setting a clear guideline. Do you guys have clear standards on what the kitchen, like your station should look like, no matter what? Do you guys have clear standards on that? Are they written down?
Not written down.
I would write them down and take a picture, right? Have it like on the wall, right in front of them. This is what your station should look like no matter what. You do your thing, you gotta go clear the station. When you clear your station, this is how it should look. And then call it a 10 out of 10. Okay, this is a 10 out of 10. And so you can stop right there, you're in the middle of an expo line. You could be like, Preston, is your station a 10 out of 10 right now? Right? John, is your station a 10 out of 10 right now? Brian, is your station a 10 out of 10 right now? Like you're just calling that out on the expo line or while you're on the line with them, right? Hey, come on, let's get your station a 10 out of 10. Stop, like take 2 seconds, make your station a 10 out of 10 instead of saying, clean your station, wipe that down, put the towels away. Like you guys have it's just a clear line of communication, right? And it makes it simple. Instead of like micromanaging them of what they should do, just go make your station a 10 out of 10 before you continue. You got it, boom, they're gonna do that. Okay, cool. Guys, and like pre-shifting, I need you guys to keep a 10 out of 10. I want you guys to keep that 10 out of 10. We work with like standards and pride here, okay? And you start making that the culture, you start talking about it a lot, all of a sudden they're gonna do it without you asking. And then what happens when the next person gets hired? It's the expectation now. The expectation lives in the culture, right? They walk in, they're like, Jesus, these guys are freaking crazy. Yeah, and then they're gonna be like, dude, get your station a 10 out of 10. Like you're mudding my station. Like, clean it up, right? Clean it up, new guy. Or they see the new guy spill something, be like, dude, did you just, come here. Right? Your line cook's doing this. Come on, man. Clean up after. Oh, I was about to come back. No, do it now. Don't come back and clean it now. I want you to clean it now. Like this doesn't make any sense for you to walk away. There's no freaking like logic behind that. Do it now, let's get it done. So that's how you seriously start developing people. Start talking to them, start like making it systematized and you'll move the needle. But when you're just kind of like micromanaging people over and over again and they can do something with zero consequences, or zero motivation, then they're just gonna keep doing it. Why wouldn't you? You know, like I'll just do things my way and I'll have excuses and you'll take them. It's busy, right? So that's what I focus on. And I'm giving you guys permission. to back up the line, right? I'll give you permission. I'll take the brunt. So 30 seconds, guys, and you can do that too, right? I want you to have, like, you can go, it's slow, right? I want you to go, like, messy a section up, or a part of it, and I want you to clean it as fast as you can, right? Just show us what you got. So the guy sets it and he cleans it, you time it. 25 seconds, right? 25 seconds to reset your line. So, and then I like what Raul said, you can just have in the middle of a Saturday night shift, guys, stop. 10 out of 10, everybody, like, reset your stations. Everybody, down the line. I want everybody doing it. And so everyone goes, boom, and they do it, 20 seconds, right? Lines reset, 30 seconds. You think it would take longer than that to reset your station? We went to the Cheesecake Factory in West Palm Beach, and the same thing. You could tell they were busy right when we walked, like, they had just gotten done with the rush. We go in there, you sit, like, there's food on the freaking thing, there's a napkin on the floor. We go up there, you put your hands on, you're like, ugh. There's like 2 menus kind of hanging out. We pick up the menus are dirty. And I'm like, dude, like, what do you think is going through my mind right now? Like, oh man, I can't wait to eat here. I'm just like, I'm kind of disgusted.
Came down.
Yeah.
Just came up from up here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, seriously. Now it's like
Now they have to bring you back up.
Yeah, 100%. And guess what? He was late greeting us. So now it's just like, I am officially not. You can bring me the best food in the world, and I'm just not going to enjoy this experience. Versus like, hey, everyone just got up, dude. First things first, I'm gonna fix what the guest sees and touches. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. I don't care if the freaking line's backed up. I don't care if I'm wiping this down. I'm wiping the counter down. I'm checking the seats, everything. Like, I'm gonna make sure what the guest sees and feels is a 10 out of 10, right? Then I can go back and like fix the drinks and all that good stuff, right? And I'm sure that's your philosophy too, right? Like, and a big thing too, guys, hostesses, but bartenders is like menus need to be wiped down. But making sure those things are wiped down to a T. But now with the paper menus, it's like, dude, make sure there's no food on it. Make sure it's not dirty. Make sure there's throw them away. Yeah, I don't get it. I went to a really nice restaurant. I don't get it. I went to a really nice a restaurant, and it was like there was like food on it. Oh. Remember, Cassidy? I was like, oh, cool. It's like a scratch and smell. No, that's nice. I like that.
No,
yeah.
It's a taste.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's a taste.
Oh.
It's on the house.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, what effort does it take to make sure that doesn't happen? It's so minimal and it doesn't happen. It's crazy. I'm like, they're handing you the menu and you're like, really? Really? Wow. That's really discouraging. So that's big. But yeah, so guys, I think you guys are starting to see it, right? It's like nurturing people, talking to them. And it's not about, right? It's not about, are you stupid? What's your problem? Why aren't you doing this? Get your stuff together. We can have those conversations in private. When it becomes verbal warning, write-up time, stuff like that, we can have conversations where like, is there something we're missing here that we don't understand? Love it. Yeah, and that's it. Consequences, right? The consequence doesn't have to be like this major thing. It's just, this is what happens when you don't do it. Now, because when you have someone that someone ever telling you, or you feeling this way, where you're like, I've told them a million times, they just don't listen. That's a problem. That's not like a passing statement. You're not just like, you shouldn't accept that. That's not acceptable, right? If I'm telling them something and they're not listening, that's not acceptable. How do I turn into a system first? Because they have to have the direction. They have to have the tools, right? Then they have to know what the consequence is. Because that's really what a system is. You teach them how to do it, you implement it properly so they know how to do it, and then you give them the consequence of what happens, right? You need to be on time. So I would recommend leaving 30 minutes early from your house. Your time is, you have to be 5 minutes before your in time. Your schedule will come out a week before, so you have plenty of time to plan. If you come in late, the first time's a verbal warning, the second time's a written warning, the third time you'll be terminated. Do you guys have any questions about that? Thank you. Okay, awesome. So when someone comes in late, you're like, okay, did you understand? We're gonna have a verbal, oh yeah, I know. When I was driving here, I knew it. I was just running late, whatever. It doesn't become about excuses, it just becomes about acceptance. Acceptable, that's not answers. Just to let you know, that answer's not acceptable. It's okay that you've given to me this time, but what I'm gonna do is tell you the solution. 1 is a QR code. 2 is you let them know, I'm gonna set these menus next to you on the seat, because if you leave them up here, they'll end up getting stuck on the table. And I don't want it to be like become a big mess. Yeah. Right? Whatever it is. Or just let me know when you're ready, I'll bring you a brand new menu, right? Let me get you I'll get you a fresh one. Whatever you want to, but you're letting them know this is how you do it. So from now on, saying that the guest asked for the menu is unacceptable. Is that fair? Okay, cool. Are we good on that? Okay, cool. We're good? Yeah, all right, awesome. So you're clear on the solution. All right, awesome. So then we're developing them. Or if we just say that in passing, next time do that, well, they're probably not going to do it. So that's a great example. What else do we got? Yeah, and then at the end of the night, if there's, I doubt even like the menus you'd save would be worth the labor, right? Of like sorting them. Raul would have to answer that question because he'll know best. And then that could be just color coded, right? Instead of saying dirty menus, it can just be like, or just like, the black one is for the used ones, the brown one is for brand new ones, right? Yeah, but just so they can see it. And yeah, I like that idea. So we have brand new, fresh menus we use throughout the whole night. These are the dirty menus. If the server has time, we'd recommend like trying to separate them. But again, Raul would be the ultimate decider if like it's worth the labor to actually save those menus or not. Because paper menus are like so fragile.
They're not.
Yeah, throw them away, and then because now you have your other manager coming in the mornings, wasting labor going through them, and then wiping down the drink menus is huge. It's like gonna have to be a manager responsibility if a server or hostess gets cut early, or a server responsibility, right? You guys closing servers. One of your side works is to wipe down all the drink menus before you leave. Like, takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right, at the most. So, but making sure those are all wiped down and ready to go instead of having another manager come in the morning and completing that is huge. And then, because whether you do it in the AM or PM, if you have the host do it in the AM, it's up to you guys. But it's like, we want to just make sure the bottom line is our biggest goal is that no one gets a dirty menu, period. Like, that's our goal, because unacceptable, like just totally unacceptable. And it right away sets it off for a bad temperament. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, and you can have it on both sides. So it's like, have that, again, use your daily pre-shifts as a mechanism of training, right? That's what we talked about this a lot. Yeah. Like, that should be your freaking golden ticket to train people. So it's like, we're gonna talk to people for a week during our pre-shifts, and we're gonna say, hey guys, if you miss your break, I don't care if you're slam busy, right? If you don't come to grab a manager, say, I need to go on a break in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, 30 minutes, whatever buffer you want, you're gonna get a verbal warning, and then a written warning, and then termination. Right? We just can't play around with it. We can't accept it. So if someone doesn't come up to you, you need to take initiative. Is that fair? And and then also you tell the managers too, like, you guys are gonna also be held accountable. Like, if you're not on top of it for whatever reason, and it's you guys having systems in place to make sure that you're being notified that the person's going on break. It's just the way it is. Like, and the post shift. This is where like the magic starts happening. Okay, so if you guys can pre-shift during training, do training during pre-shift, if you truly do it, every single employee, every single day, you're gonna unlock a whole bunch of stuff, right? And it can't be this like, hey guys, so we have 60 covers, we're out of the shrimp, the salmon, or the fish is salmon. No big parties. If you guys need anything, let me know. Yeah, have a good shift. Right? What are you gonna do? They're just like, they're anywhere but that pre-shift, right? They're like, okay, here's what I would do. I would say, first of all, everyone's standing up. I don't know if you already do this. Everyone's standing up, and we're doing a pre-shift. I'm in the middle, right? Like this. Everyone's standing up. No one's doing side work. Like, no, like it's not happening. And no one's on their phone, of course. And one thing we want to do is get their attention and keep their attention. How do we do that?
Ask them questions. Slap.
Yeah, ask some questions, right? Get them involved. If you're gonna sit there and talk at them, they're just not gonna listen, especially if they know that's a format. They're gonna sit there and go, okay. But if they know they're gonna be asked questions or called on, now they're paying attention because they don't wanna look stupid, right? So if they know that, and I mean not everyone has to get called on, but you're gonna be random about it, right? Hey, sell me the fish today. What's this fish special? Sell me that today. So I want you to tell me how you passion sell the carnitas tacos. I want you to passion sell it to me right now. But get them involved, right? Yeah. Right. So explain to me what your pre-shifts, how do you do your pre-shifts every day? Like, what's the timing? Pressure. But yeah, but even you guys gotta think about this though. 90% of feedback should always be positive, and so in some way, shape, or form. Never on the floor. If you can avoid doing it on the floor, don't do it on the floor. If someone's not dropping things or they're leaving menus on the table, like, we don't need to go, hey, do that. Like, if they're not gonna do it, so you have your notepad, right? Okay, cool. And then afterwards, post shift. Hey, dude, can I talk to you in the office for a second? And even then, it's not like, what's up? You got a fucking problem? Like, you disrespecting me? Is it because I'm on shift? Is that why? Think you take advantage of me? It's more of like, you want to do almost with a smile on your face. Be like, all right, bro, talk to me. Why weren't you dropping app plates today? Talk to me. Be real. I'm totally open to it, right? Oh man.
You don't give a shit. You don't care.
Yeah, right. Well, you don't have to say that. No. I get what you're saying. But then it's like, oh well, I got busy, right? Busy. Okay, do me a favor. I want you to put this in your workflow. No matter how busy you are, you drop app plates. If a guest complains, if a guest gets upset, if you need my help, anything, I got your back. If a guest complains because you're too backed up from dropping app plates, I'll fully support it. Is that fair? Can I get your commitment from now on? Now, if we don't drop app plates from now on, is it fair to give you a verbal warning now that we've had this talk? All right, cool. Man, we can do this, dude. I know you're good. Drop appetizer plates, yeah. Like, I'm just saying, because sometimes it's small stuff that you notice, right? That are like, you know, why aren't you pre-bussing, right? But having those small conversations, but doing with a smile, right? I got your back. Tell me why. Okay, dude, I know you can build this in your workflow. Let's just make it a habit. I want you to lead by example. You're one of the best servers here. You gotta rock the ship. Is that fair? Right? Okay, now that we have this conversation, is it fair that the next one could be a verbal warning? Is that fair? Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. And then it's positive reinforcement to some degree. Now, you can't have all conversations like that, right? Now you have some where you're like, dude, this is like, you either get it or you don't. Like, this is a come to Jesus moment. I'm gonna be real with you right now.
But
It's not like you want to. Hey guys, who got backed up yesterday? That's all right. But here's what's good. You know, here's the good, right? Another thing too is with your pre-shifts. I don't know if you guys are already doing this, but if you have a 4, 5, and 6 in times, right? Staggered in times. Those are 3 different pre-shifts you're doing. You're not waiting till 6 p.m. to pre-shift everyone. Why do you think that is?
starting late.
Well, yeah, but why else?
They're missing the message in the beginning.
Right. So the 4 p.m. doesn't get the message till 6 p.m. and the 4 p.m. has tables. Did that ever happen in pre-shift? Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go run food. Hey, I gotta go read a table. I just got sat. Oh, I mean, what's the point of pre-shifting them? You want their full undivided attention. It's a learning tool. Pre-shifting, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. I'm individually pre-shifting every single person that comes in. They're standing up. We're talking about it. It's positive, and we're also talking about like what we're gonna do. How are you gonna sell me the carnitas tacos, right? Was that just for me? Yeah. Name them after me. How, you know, like what do you do to passion sell the guacamole, right? What are you guys going to talk about? What's the fresh fish today? Tell me again. Sell me the fresh fish. I want to hear it, right? Got it. Okay. What are you going to do to upsell today? Give me your upsell. By the way, Carlos is our best upseller. I want you to tell me how you tell everyone how you upsell. Pretend we're a table, right? That's a pre-shift. That's it. High energy and tonality to get them excited. It's a rah-rah. We're getting them excited about the shift. Yes. Yeah, that's huge. And like, you know, one thing I ask you guys, everyone in this room, because we're all leaders, right, is who here, honest to God, and you can be honest, likes excuses when your employees gives you excuses why they didn't do something? Don't be embarrassed. You can raise your hand. All right. Don't be embarrassed. Yeah, no one likes excuses, right? You don't like excuses, but you have to understand that that employee believes that excuse. Right? They believe it, right? They give you an excuse and they're not like, well, I was lazy. What, so what? What's the big deal, right? No, I have an excuse. I'm not lazy. I got standards, okay? I'm one of the best here, by the way, but I have an excuse of why I didn't do that job. But you gotta make sure you're not embodying that same mentality, right? Because when you have an excuse, it's your ego that's tricking your brain to thinking that you're right and you can lower your standard, right? We wanna make sure everyone in this room doesn't get tricked by their ego. And say, I have an excuse of why I'm not doing this. I have an excuse why I'm cutting corners. I have an excuse of why I'm asking this employee to do that, but I'm not doing it. I'm freaking busy, like worst, right? And has anybody ever worked with a leadership team, a manager at any point in their life, it could have been at freaking your first job, where they seem like a superhero, where it's like every time they did things by the book, they were always positive, and they led by example. Has anybody ever worked with someone like that? Just love it, yeah. And you're like, damn, dude, this guy does it all. He shows that this can all be done. Right? I'm gonna ask you to clean your section. I'm gonna ask you to clean that dry storage area when you make it messy during a busy shift, but I do it, and I'm gonna show you that you can do it, right? I'm the example that you can do it. Just like when I was bartending. You know, I was too busy to clean my section. I'm like, dude, I do it every single time. What's your excuse? Why can't you do it? You think I'm more talented than you? This is a physical job. I'm not more talented than you. I just built this into my workflow. I put the effort in. It's all about effort. So make sure we're not the ones making the excuses, right? Because we don't like it when people make excuses to us. We can't be making excuses. And if you find yourself making an excuse for some reason, do a little exploring, right? Am I making this excuse? Again, 80-20. Am I making this excuse because of X, Y, and Z, or am I just not doing the job to my fullest capacity? Because it might be that. And one thing I really want you guys to do too is really start thinking about yourselves as entrepreneurs. Has anybody heard that term before? An entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is basically you have an entrepreneur's mindset and you're in someone else's business. But you still have the entrepreneur mindset, which means you take full ownership of everything and you understand, like I always talk about, there's something much bigger right now than just your job, right? You're building yourself up, you're training yourself skill sets. If everyone here today was to walk away and say, I'm gonna develop the hell out of my team. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, I'm gonna develop them. I'm gonna go above and beyond. I'm gonna work the extra hours. I'm gonna put in the extra effort and develop everybody. And I'm gonna do it with grace Empathetic. See, yeah, I'm pretty empathetic, right? I don't even know the word. No, I'm joking. But being empathetic too, right? They're not going to perform like me. They're not. I don't need an expectation they do exactly what I say when I say it. They're not dogs. I'm not training them. So I'm going to be empathetic and understand when they don't mess up. But I'm still going to train them. I'm not going to put judgments on them and say they're not trainable. Forget them, right? Yeah. Right. And not taking it personal. If you feel yourself getting upset at an employee to the point where like you're going to snap, and trust me, I've been there. I've done it, right? I've never walked away and snapped at an employee and been like, good job, Preston. That feels good. That feels good. Like the next day, wake up like, oh man, what a good call, right? Yeah, I really showed that dishwasher who's the boss. You know, it's like I'm always like, oh, dude, come on, Preston.
Business inside the business.
It's all business, and that's a superpower, right? That's a superpower to be able to like, dude, it's business, right? I'm not gonna take it personal, nor should I. Like it's fine. Like if someone talks to me a certain way, I can pull them aside after the shift and be like, hey, listen, I get it, temperament's fluid, but you can't talk to me like that. I just wanna make that really clear. Is that fair? We're cool, like don't get me wrong, I get it, but like you can't talk to me like that. If it happens again, it's gonna be a written warning. And after that, it's gonna be termination. Is that cool? I'm just asking to be respectful, just like I'm being respectful to you right now, right? So they're gonna be like, oh, shoot, man, I'm sorry. And they're gonna tell someone, right? They're probably gonna tell someone that the word's gonna get around. So if someone talks to you a certain way or doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing and it's the middle of a shift and you start feeling angry, do not like act on that emotion, right? Walk away. Someone says, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, all right, come on guys, let's go. Let's keep it going, right? Let's move it, right? I don't need to confront you in front of everyone to prove that no one talks to me like that, but I will pull you aside afterwards and I'll let you know, like, it's unacceptable, right? And from now on, we're cool. There's not gonna be some weird thing, but from now on, I need you to respect me. So just don't act on those emotions, right? But anyway, focus yourself as an entrepreneur. You're building yourself up, you're building your skill sets up, and you can take these wherever you want. You can take them to Marisco's to the top, but you can take them wherever you want after this. These are skill sets that you're developing for yourself to be able to be better. And if you can develop these skill sets that I'm teaching right now, you're gonna become an exponentially better leader than 90% of the restaurant managers out there. Because most restaurant managers are restaurant managers. You wanna be a restaurant leader. You wanna be a leader. Not a manager, a leader. And there's a big freaking difference. A manager is systematic, technical, transactional, right? I can swipe the card, I can approve discounts, I'll make sure no one's stealing, I'll make sure everyone's coming in on time, I'll make sure all these things are done, versus leading. I'm gonna make you better. I'm gonna inspire you today, right? I'm gonna let you know when you walk into work and you see me, you're gonna be like, yes, this is gonna be a good shift because I have one of the dude, you know, Preston's a badass. I hear that all the time. Joking. But yeah, but like that's what you want. That's a leader, right? A manager is just like, oh, okay, they're on, right? If I have a problem, I'll come to them. If I need a card swiped, I'll come to them. But they can go to you for anything. So that's why the pre-shift's so important. When you're talking to them, you have that tonality, that energy every single time. It's a Monday, there's hardly any covers, there's 2 people I'm talking to or 1 person I'm talking to, I'm still bringing that energy. We're gonna do this together. We have like 10 covers. We're gonna make sure all 10 of those covers are gonna have the best freaking experience ever because we have all the time in the world to focus on them, right? Tell me how you're gonna make that experience today. Tell me how you're gonna win a guest over today. I wanna hear it, come on, give me some examples. When's the last time you got a win with the table? When's the last time you went above and beyond and you noticed it, right? Those are the things you wanna start talking about in pre-shifts to get them motivated and excited. And then after the pre-shift, be like, hey, you talked about those wins, right? What'd you do? What was the response? How'd it look, right? So you just keep that conversation going. But think of yourselves as entrepreneurs, you're developing yourselves. You wanna feel the growth. You wanna feel the needle being moved. Does that make sense, guys? And that goes for leads. Dude, right? Like build yourself up. Make people think you're a manager, like they're a leader, right? Like, are you like salary or what's going on, right? Because you're so involved. You know, like you're involved with them. So anybody, because you're a lead, correct? Yeah, you're a lead, right? So if you're a lead, take ownership. Be the best in the building. Like that should be your mentality. How do I become the best in the building no matter what? Like how am I gonna be the best? So it's like always, like one thing I can tell you is like, I had a manager, multiple managers, right? Someone calls out and they're like, oh my God, right? And they go back and they're like, and then pre-shift, they're like, all right, Preston and Kaylee called out again. So we're gonna be short staffed. So just like try your best and you know, whatever. Versus like, hey guys, Preston and Kaylee are doing, we have a couple call outs today, so we're gonna be short staffed. Not a problem at all. I'm gonna be on the floor busting my hump to make sure that you guys don't feel it. If you guys need anything, you let me know, I'm there for you, okay? And we're gonna make this the best shift possible. All of us are gonna make more money, right? But we still have to give the guests the best experience possible. So let's focus on that. Whatever support you need, I got your back, okay? You guys good, right? Versus like, it's just, it's a different mentality that you're building into them. And again, you're leading by example. They're not gonna be like, oh my God, why does that person call out every time? And that's how they're starting their shift. They're starting their shift with positive motivation. And you're setting that, but you're leading by example, right? You can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. That's what I always tell people. If I can do it, you can do it. There's no difference between us. I don't have some sort of physical ability that you don't have. I don't have anything that you don't have. It's just putting in the effort. Are you willing to put in the effort? Right? Are you willing to put in the effort to be the best version of yourself? Just talking to people like that, and they're like, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. Versus you need to do better. You need to be faster. You need to make sure you do your job right. You need to make sure you do X, Y, and Z from now on. Don't do that anymore, right? Then they're like, that's when they start brushing things off, whatever. So it's inspiration versus, trying to lay down the hammer all the time. Does that make sense? And then you could, but you also have, we call it yin and yang management, right? Where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm here, I got your back, I'm always gonna be positive. If you come in, say, I'm tired, whatever, or I had a bad day, whatever, yeah, I got you, let's talk about it, you good? But then you can have that yang side of you, where it's like when they mess up, the end of the shift, right? Can I talk to you in the office? And they're gonna know they can't excuse their way out of a problem that they had. Oh, well, this is why, okay, totally cool. Just from now on, the next one's gonna be a verbal warning, is that fair? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna pull you aside just like I did this time, no matter what the reason is, I'm gonna give you a verbal warning, then it's written, then it's termination. Let's just not even go down that road. They'd be like, dang, he's cool. He has my back, but he's also serious, right? I have to take him serious because he's gonna have this other side of him where I can't take advantage of him by making a bunch of excuses, which servers and bartenders and hostesses are very good at. So are line cooks, right? Very good at making excuses and tugging at the heartstrings, right? Manipulating you. That's what they're doing, right? So we got to make sure that we're not going to let that happen. We're a family here, right? I treat them like family. They're my family. It's like we're not family here. Does anybody think it's a good idea to hire a family member in their own business, right? It doesn't mean that it's the say-all, be-all. My point is that we're not here saying we're family, right? We're here saying we're a team. I'm building a championship team, right? I'm the GM of the Bulls. He's Phil Jackson. You're Michael Jordan, right? I'm building a championship team so we can win championships.
You got Laker fan in there.
And when I was managing, I'd always try and end up in the dish pit, and I'd wanted people to come by. Hey, can you talk this table? And I'm like cleaning dishes. Yeah, absolutely. No matter what, they're gonna be like, damn, wow.
Being a rock star team player.
Right, that people respect that so much, and they see you getting in your hands dirty and getting in the nitty gritty. They respect that immensely. There's if you haven't read Unreasonable Hospitality, you should. But it's about this guy who was a manager, and this is what I'm talking about, entrepreneurship, right? Because you can lead yourself to wherever you want. Okay, so Will Guidara started off as a manager. He was a manager. He became a leader. And then he kept training himself and learning and thinking of outside the box and leading. And then he got the job as a GM of 11 Madison, or Madison Square Park, 11 Madison Park. Yeah, which is one of the most respected restaurants now. And he turned it around. It was like doing okay. And he turned it around to one of the most successful restaurants in the world. And he wrote this book. Now he's world famous. It's one of the best-selling books of all time. Not even a restaurant book, just book of all time. And people absolutely love it. And he's like freaking he's a rock star, right? Everyone wants him to speak and all this stuff. And he's just really famous. Started off as a restaurant manager, but he was an entrepreneur, right? How do I build this up? How do I build myself up? How do I grow? How do I add these new skill sets? And one of the things he talks about was when he went to 11 Madison for the first time, he was like, I remember when I was at this job and a new GM came in. And this new GM had a speech about his vision and what every person's vision was, part in that vision was, right? And he had this big speech and he couldn't wait to make that speech. He's like, I want to make that speech. I can't wait for that day. But he's like, I'm not going to make that speech on day one. I'm going to spend the next 60 days. I'm not going to direct anybody. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I'm just going to work the floor. And I'm going to work every position. I'm going to be in the dish pit. I'm going to learn every aspect of that business. I'm going to earn everyone's respect and show them how hard I work. Then when I earn their respect, I'm going to have that speech. And he did that. And then he had the speech and he got full buy-in from the staff because they're like, we already respect you. Because leader and manager, if they follow you because you're a manager, if your staff's following you because you're a manager, they're following you because they don't want to get in trouble, which means they'll do the bare minimum. I'll do the bare minimum not to get in trouble. If they follow you because you're a leader, that means they believe in you. And they'll do whatever you ask them to do because they believe in you. That's the difference. Leader, manager. We want to become leaders. We want to make sure we're leaders by leading in that way. So that's really important. So one thing I want you guys to write down right now as we're wrapping up is And this is a really important thing to do. And exercise, you guys should be doing it in weekly manager meetings, but you guys should be doing it on your own as well. Write down one failure you had in the last week. Where did I fail in the last week as a manager leader? It could be, I saw someone doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing and I never held them accountable. I never said anything. It could be, I snapped at an employee. It could be, I was lazy that day. I was lazy one day. I came in and I was just lazy. It could be, I came in late. What's one failure you had in the last week? And be honest, be vulnerable. Like there's no point in like, and you know, beating around the bush. Like just be really honest and direct because you want this from your employees too, right? But this is a good reflection thing. It's like, what's one way I failed in the last week? Because like I said, there's no one in here that's like, dude, I got a bunch of free time on Mondays and Tuesdays. I just basically sit around kind of like waiting for something to happen, right? No one has that. We're all busy. We're all working hard. It's like we got to build this stuff into our workflow though. And that's really important. Again, this is next level stuff. This is stuff 90% of leadership teams aren't doing. So if you have that mentality, it's completely different. Again, that's entrepreneurship. I'm taking ownership of something. I don't need to do it because of this job. I don't need to do it because for Raul. I don't even do it for my team. I'm doing it for myself to develop myself into being that badass. And that's what it's all about. So we want to focus on that. That's great, is of having that openness though, of like, okay, what did I fail at and how can I fix it? How can I make sure I understand that it's that 80% roadblock, right? Because you said, well, I was busy, not really excuse. You know, it's not, right? It's understandable. And it's not like, it means that like you're doing something wrong. It's just like, how do I get better? That's what I think. How do I get better? 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 Because if you're not getting better at things, if you're not growing, if you're not improving, then you're going the opposite direction. All right, who else wants to be vulnerable? Another thing too is that's a great opportunity, a perfect opportunity to be vulnerable in front of your staff. So I'm sure you've already done this, but like when you're pre-shifting and you're talking about that, say, hey guys, we have a huge problem. We had a guest that came in, they waited 20 minutes, they never got greeted and they left. And I didn't believe it at first, but I checked the cameras and they did wait 20 minutes. And guess whose fault it is? I looked at 23. Jesus. I sat them, I walked by that table multiple times. I didn't even know that they were there, like it was them. This was completely my fault. And I already told Raul this, and I'm gonna have to sit down and have a meeting with him. So if you don't see me tomorrow, like, I love all you guys. If you have someone, it's your job to watch your section. Absolutely. I could take responsibility on my end for walking by that table multiple times and not seeing that they got greeted as a GM. I can take responsibility for that, and I will. But there's also other people that have responsibility here. That's why we're a team. It's not just one person, it's all of us. But that's like your section. Also, the people next to your section, seeing that they didn't get greeted is like not acceptable. You guys should be aware of this stuff. You guys should be able to see this. You guys should be watching this. Like it should stick out like a sore thumb. You guys have two very easy indicators to know if people have been helped. Do they have drinks in front of them? Do they have chips and salsa in front of them? This is what, you guys are having a manager meeting after this. I would highly recommend to everyone going through their failures, talking through it. And that's something that you should talk about every week, right? Where did I fail? It could be anything. It could be like I snapped at someone. I didn't clean someone. I wasn't properly monitoring. I let something slip when I shouldn't have let it slip. I came in late. I left early. That day I was being super lazy and I left early, right? And it's like, but it's okay to be vulnerable and talk about those things. We've all done, anything that someone mentions, we've all done it, some capacity, right? We're humans. But it's just all about getting better. Not perfection, progress. Yeah, so guys, like taking ownership and becoming an entrepreneur, right? Build yourself up, give yourself the tools, work on yourself, feel that growth. The top, and focusing on the top 3 reasons people leave. Leadership, we're part of that solution, right? Training, we're part of that solution. And then growth, we're part of that solution. We can help our people grow. If we solve those 3 things, we see lower turnover rate, but we also see a lot more buy-in, right? It's a lot easier to give people direction because they're bought in. One last thing I want to cover before I wrap up is a really simple thing I like to do when I'm giving people direction, and you can have this like once a week if you want. It's a lot of work because you guys have big staffs. Once a week, I have a conversation. I call it keep, stop, start. And you just tell them that, hey guys, like, hey, I'm gonna have a conversation with you after your shift. I'm gonna have a keep, start, stop conversation with you, okay? Don't forget. So before you leave, we'll have a keep, stop, start conversation. And it's not painted as a negative thing. It's painted as I'm gonna develop you, right? So what you're gonna do in this situation is say, so here's what we're gonna talk about. I want you to keep doing this. Doing a great freaking job. Keep doing that. Awesome job. I want you to stop doing this, okay? You keep coming in late. I need you to stop. We're having a conversation right now. We're gonna start going into action. Verbal warning, written warning, all that good stuff. And I want you to start doing this. I want you to kind of develop a little bit more as a server. I want you to start smiling at all your tables. I notice you're not smiling at your tables. Really important. So I want you to start smiling. Is that something you commit to? All right, cool. So that's your keep, stop, start. You can have it written out. They write it in themselves. They take it with them. You can have like a paper filled out. Simple as that, right? So it's like I can give someone criticism, constructive criticism, without it being this like thing, this negative thing. It's just really simple. Every week we're gonna have a keep, stop, start. All right, and then they're gonna be excited. So that's just a huge tool you can use, especially for leadership. Now it's like a growth thing, right? And then you can go back and say, hey, how's the smiling going, right? You want to start that, how's that going? I noticed you're not doing it at your tables. I still want you to start doing that. Like, let's focus on it. It's a requirement. I'm asking you to do it. So little things like that to develop people. But again, we're having those conversations. Has anybody seen Moneyball? Basically, it's about Brad Pitt. It's based on a true story, and Jonah Hill. So this is the story. Brad Pitt is the manager of a baseball team, and they have no budget. And baseball is the only sport that has no cap on spending. So if you're rich, you can just buy all the best players, like the Yankees do. And if you don't have a lot of money, it's freaking hard because you basically have to draft right and train right, and it's like there's some teams that just will never win because of their budget. And Brad Pitt's character was in one of those teams. The way he describes it, he goes, there's rich teams that can buy players. There's poor teams that have to figure it out. We're down here, right? And so it starts off with they lost in the playoffs, and they had all this success because they just drafted really well over the last couple of years, but they were losing a lot of their good players to other teams that can pay them. And so he went to his GM and he goes, I need more money, right? Resources. I need resources. I need more money. I need more money. And the GM's like, I'm not gonna give you more money. And so then he meets Jonah Hill, and Jonah Hill is telling him, you can actually systematize the players. So instead of looking at players as they're good or this or that, which most scouts do, they hit really well, they catch really well, they do this, I can break them down into a number saying this guy gets on base, this guy hits really well, this guy catches really well. Now this guy on paper is terrible. No one wants him, but he gets on base. He'll get to that first base no matter what. That's what we need to do. We have equations. All of it's a math equation. And with that, budget doesn't matter. We're just looking to put a puzzle together of a team. And no one's thinking like that at the time. And so Brad Pitt hires him, gets fully bought in. Let's just commit to this and let's just do it because this is the only way we're going to win. Brings him into the coaching staff or the scouts, and the scouts are like, no, we've been doing this for decades, and we just know, we have a gut feeling. And he goes, no, we're going to make it numbers. And they're all pissed off. And so he gets rid of all the good players. He brings in all these other players. And the coach is like, dude, what the hell? What the hell is this? You're getting rid of all the good players and bringing all these freaking bad players that no one wants. And Brad Pitt's like, yeah, but there's a system to it. And he goes, no, I'm ready to run it my way. So he hires them all. They go with this experiment and they just lose. Giant losing streak. And everyone's saying they've lost their mind, this and that. And he finally goes, you know what? He has an epiphany because he's about to get fired. And he goes, okay, I have an epiphany. So he goes back and he talks to Jonah Hill. And instead of just expecting these things and telling people to win and do these things, he sat down with each player, with Jonah Hill, and he coaches them. All you need to do is get on base. I don't care about anything else. I just need you to get on base. That's all you do. All you're doing is catching. You're just catching. All you're doing, we just need you to hit the ball in that field. When we call on you, that's all you have to do. And he's coaching them and walking them through it, and all of a sudden it starts working. Because he's explaining to them, he's coaching them what their job is, what their role is, what part do they have in the vision. And so all of a sudden they start winning, and they go on the longest winning streak. I don't know if it's still current, but they went on the longest winning streak of any team with some of the worst players. They had no good players. And then the coach sees it happening, he gets bought in, and he starts doing it. And so that's the whole point, is that we have a vision, but we have to tell them what their part is. And it can't just be do better, right? It's all about the guest experience, like do better. If you help teamwork, it'll bring the guests back, everyone makes money. That stuff doesn't equate to people. We have to just tell them exactly what our vision is and explain it to them and continuously coach them and walk them through, show them that we care, spend that one-on-one time with them. That's really important. Does that make sense, guys? Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today. I love the dedication. All right, so we just got done with Morisco's. Bottom line, there was leadership, right? Leadership development, developing leadership, developing your people. That's what restaurants suffer from the most. And that the most successful restaurants, you're talking about Chick-fil-A, you're talking about Ritz-Carlton, hospitality groups in the world, they're focused, highly focused on people development. They want to develop their people. That's what they're obsessed with. I love his commitment. We've seen his growth. It's freaking insane. He has so much free time now, and his numbers are through the roof. And his staff is ecstatic. Seeing such a turnaround in his staff and their attitude and morale and buy-in.
And that's a true restaurant owner, not operator, because he has 6 locations, and I'm telling you right now, the guy goes on vacation all the time for a business owner. And it's not because he's lazy, it's because he's delegated everything, he's developed his people, he has trust in his people, and he's got his restaurants to a point where he can do that. Restaurant owners have this false belief that they have to be working 24/7, and they don't. A lot of people don't do that. Even like Richard Branson, who owns Virgin, he has 20 minutes a day, answers questions, makes approvals, and then he goes. The goal isn't just to not spend time in your business. I think a true business owner, entrepreneur likes that, but also it doesn't mean that you're just spending time micromanaging, spending time like putting out fires. Like that shouldn't be your day. Your day should be developing and building your business. So now we're done with that. We're headed off to Florida to go speak at the Florida Country Association.